Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman. We are here at Christenson Surfboards. We got Chris Christenson. Chris, thanks for having us.
Anytime.
And we are here to talk with you about the re-release of the new and updated Christenson Submariner. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, so this is the fourth board of my mid-length lineup that goes along with the Sea Bucket, the Huntsman, and the Ultra Tracker. Out of those four boards, this is my personal favorite. I've always been a big fan of stubby boards or displacement holes, however you want to categorize them. Obviously, a lot of influence came from the Shaper Greg Liddell. That's where I was heavily influenced by those and seeing some of the guys rip on them in Malibu and stuff. So this is kind of more or less my version of the displacement hole or the stubby, however you want to call them. These type of shapes kind of do have a cult following. They're not for the novice.
Okay.
They're actually really tricky to ride, but if you know the above average surfboard that wants to challenge midlife wise and perhaps crank the best bottom turn of their life or feel what true highline speed feels like, this would be their board. The main difference in this style of board is the bottom is actually convex, so it's like a dome bottom, so it has that real free frictionless glide kind of feel to it. That also allows the board, rather than with V panel boards or double concaves or concave boards, they kind of twitch and the initiations are really fast. This type of bottom is more of a more kind of on a pendulum, the way it goes rail to rail. Rails are really soft up until the tail. There is edge from the middle of the box back. And then the other thing is you have to displace, to get this board to work right, you have to displace a lot of the foam in a lot of places. So it comes with an S deck. So I had to remove, to keep the rocker low and without getting any funny bumps in the curves and the bottom rocker line. The deck is actually shaped kind of like an S. Comes down, comes back up. So I removed a lot of the volume here. It's got a little flip in the entry here. Got a lot more volume here. And then again, you want these tails really bladey. They're actually really, really thin here in the tips. It's like about that. So you want the board sensitive in all the right places. And then again, the thickness is not your kind of standard thickness flow for certain people's weight. So at 180 pounds, most average to above average surfers on most of their boards are going to be in the 2.5 to 2 5/8 range, depending on the style of board they're riding. But for like a daily driver,
right?
For this board, the 180 pound guy is going to be on a 3 inches thick. You want it a lot thicker. These rails feel like it's almost 2 inches the way they're brought down.
It's pulled from the top
and the bottom. You got a convex deck and a convex bottom, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of planer work that went on in these things. Another key choice when you get this board is to get a flex fin at about 9.5 inches is the right thing. And they go quite forward. The box is pushed further forward than normal. So the fin placement on these is anywhere from 9 to 11 inches, depending on what style fin. I recommend the flex fin from True Ames.
Okay.
At 9.5 inches. Yeah, I love it. You want that little twang when you roll it over and you'll really feel it spring off your bottom turns.
And that fin has got a short cord on it, right? Like it's not like super wide.
No, it's not real bassy. There's not a ton of rake either. Really thin foil in the tip, and the fin actually does flex. So check out the flex fin from True Ames. I'm a big fan of that fin.
And what's the design idea behind like having the fin far forward? You on the board.
You surf the board quite forward as well. Like your back foot's going to be in front of the fin.
Okay.
So there's a lot of mid stance going on. I do use the nose on these for cheater fives and stuff like that.
Okay.
But most of because of the way the bottom is, it's generally that bottom is going to feel really frictionless and nice and smooth, and it is fast, and you're not really generating the speed with your legs as you would like a performance shortboard or anything. You kind of are letting the board do the work and then using your rail and the fin to initiate more speed. But a lot of that work is with your stance quite far forward. In the cutbacks and stuff like that, you go back. But even on bottom turns, my back foot's in front of
you're further forward on the board.
In front of the fin.
What about, talk with us about like pulling this foam out up front? Like you're doing that on a lot of your boards. Like what is that going to do to this board?
You're just displacing unnecessary volume, so you're getting rid of that because you're not going to lose buoyancy by removing that. You also get a better swing weight having a little less weight up there.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
Dimensions on this one, 7.0, 21 3/4 by 3.
Yeah, this is the perfect 180 pound board guy right here.
Yeah, normally, like, you know, somebody that size, they'd be looking at 3. They'd be like, no way, that's not for me.
Yeah, but when you feel it, it's not, you know, it's not intimidating at all. It's really pulled down. These generally go from 6'4" to 8'0" is kind of the range on them.
Okay.
There's no set length in mine. I like riding a 6'6" because it fits in the back of my truck. I lock it up with the shell.
Okay, yeah.
I also like riding 7'0s. It's one of those things is to get your thickness dialed and pick your length and get used to it and let it run.
Right. That's interesting to hear the 6'6". That's exactly why I ordered mine as 7'2". Because diagonally, that's what fits in the bed of the truck. Talk with us about like the type of wave that this is going to work the best on.
Type of wave that you're going to want this on, like I picture where you're from on the East Coast. Like I spent a lot of time on the East Coast. Those really glassy offshore days are you ride in here and you just want to, you know, run off the bottom, run high lines. It's going to want really smooth, glassy surf, which you guys get a lot of that with your offshore winds. A lot of it works great at the reef breaks here. Its downfall is this thing will buck you wild going backside.
Okay.
I've seen some surfers surf these well backside, but it kind of has that nemesis like a lot of fish do where they're just kind of a front side only board.
Okay. The outline, when you kind of blur your eyes a little bit, you look at the outline, it looks like it has a lot of like flat tracker, ultra tracker curve to it. Like just maybe adjusted. Like what were you thinking there? Like as far as, you know, in your, like
I did use
matching your curves to a hull. Like what were you thinking on that?
Well, these are all my curves, and then so this actually is the ultra tracker. Okay. The ultra tracker has a little bladed, you know, a little more diamond-y thing here, you know, and I just eyeballed it and hand did some things. I added like a slight little hip right here, not much. This nose is actually the sea bucket nose, but I played with the template. So the sea bucket template and the ultra tracker template were used to make these, and I just kind of moved them around a little bit to get the lines.
But a little bit wider.
And a little bit wider.
A little bit wider than an ultra tracker would be.
Yeah.
Not for beginners.
This is not the novice board. This is for your average guy and up, and then or anyone that wants really likes using mid lengths a lot and wants to add, you know, an additional board to the arsenal. This is the board for them.
And then what about on full on points? Like we talked about beach.
Great point break. I mean, I was first introduced to these things at Malibu.
Okay.
And that's where I saw the guys really ripping them and stuff. The original Submariner was quite a bit different, and it, you know, it ran its course, and I always kind of knew I needed to do something different. And I had a few years of pause to think about it. And then one day it clicked, and that's how I come with a lot of my models. I'll think about them for a while, and then as soon as it clicks, I go grab a blank and then knock it out.
Yeah, get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't ridden mine yet because it hasn't shown up, but I have ridden like this style of board, and it's definitely unique. Like as far as like having that displacement and the roll, and the way that it just like gets the momentum going. It's a very addictive feeling.
It can be humiliating for those first few sessions because it's a whole different approach. But once you tap into it, it's a real addictive feeling because it's not going to feel like any other board you have.
Yeah.
Which I like. I always like a challenge personally. And I'm always searching for different feelings. And then as a designer too, like you can take things from different things. Even I'm really involved with designing snowboards now. And then, you know, I was always like, oh, I'm going to put surfboard elements in my snowboards. And now I'm taking some snowboard elements and putting them back in my surfboards, which is like the new hole shot I did, you know?
Yeah.
This convex bottom that's in these, I actually put in the nose of my snowboards. Because when we're riding powder and stuff, I don't want a flat bottom up there hitting deeper snow and chattering or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So I got that nice rolled entry, so it just goes butter through the powder.
Right, right.
And I do like recommending these as clear sand finish.
Clear sand?
Yep, clear sands. Keeps the price down. I think that's what they look the most punk rock that way.
Right, right.
And I do put a little reinforcement of the volant patch around the box because you're using such a long fin. There's a lot of twing in the fin, so I really want this box strong.
Okay. Awesome, Chris. Well, hey, thank you so much. The new Christenson Submariner. If anybody out there has any questions on this board or would like to place an order for one, either stock or custom, you can always reach us at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.